guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Monday, August 14th. And we have, is it an announcement at this point? I guess we are now with
launch.
Yeah, soft launch.
We're
We're
very
now
hard
with
launch.
CLNS
We
Media.
just didn't tell anybody. We didn't hint at it, nothing.
We
Once
we
I
did
teased
kind of
it.
hint at it. Yeah, well, we are now with the CLNS Media Podcast Network. If you're in the Boston area, New England area, you probably know CLNS. They have plenty of great podcasts. Obviously, there's the Garden Report, which is their post-game show. They have First to the Floor. They have Cedric Maxwell's podcast. They have a bunch of podcasts. Winning Plays. You can go over there. You can see a ton of podcasts. We are now a part of that network. So if you are listening to this on the CLNS channel, know that the videos on CLNS usually go up a day after we post the podcast. So, for example, we post our podcasts. This is for any new listeners. We post our podcasts on our channel Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. You'll probably see them on CLNS a day or two later. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or maybe again a day or two later. So we are now with CLNS, and for longtime listener Joey Spatulas, who I'm actually rocking the Ironclad Eatery shirt today, just because I happen to be wearing it. Sam's one tease of it was, what's the big news? And I remember Joey Spatulas in the comments going, what is the news, brother?
Yeah, what is the news?
This is the news. We are with CLNS Media, and so expect the content to be here and there moving forward. Nothing is changing. If you watch on How About Them Celtics, nothing is changing there. Pods are still going up on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and those little videos we do on every other day, those are staying exclusive to the How About Them Celtics channel. So again, if you're listening on CLNS or Celtics All Access on CLNS, and you like us, subscribe to How About Them Celtics. We'd appreciate it very much, and you can get some extra content there as well, because we're doing daily uploads on How About Them Celtics YouTube channel. So lob us a subscribe button, and if you don't like us, then you don't have to, but that's okay.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Excited to get started with CLNS. We're, for now, just doing the re-uploads like Jack said. Maybe in the future we'll do something. But the one guy was all pissed today. He said, we're better than that.
Yeah, somebody was not happy that he saw a real upload. But, that probably means he saw it on our channel already. So Thank you, listener, who watched it on our channel first. But, if you want to get our podcasts when they first drop, again, subscribe to How About Them Celtics on YouTube, and they'll be on all the CLNS channels a day later. But thank you to the guys at CLNS. Shout out John and all those guys for bringing us on board. We appreciate it, and we're excited to be a part of the team. I guess it's team, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, we do have plenty of Celtics stuff to talk about today, so let's dive right into it. We're going to start with some actual Celtics news. The Celtics have signed a player. According to, I believe, kind of. They signed him to a type of contract. It was Shams who tweeted this out, right? Or was it Woj? I forget which one.
I don't remember.
Reported this news. One of them. The Celtics have signed DJ Steward to a training camp contract. He's going to compete for a two-way spot, of which the Celtics have one left. Steward is a 21-year-old, 6'1" point guard who played 2 seasons with the Stockton Kings for the past 2 years. This past year, he averaged 12 points, almost 3 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 46% from the field and almost 41% from deep on 3.9 three-point attempts per game. Now, this is something we talked about, maybe bringing in another point guard because the shakiness with Brogdon and Pritchard's future, as well as the fact that J.D. Davison didn't exactly look great in Summer League, but DJ Steward getting a chance to compete for a contract is fine. He's a bit undersized for maybe what you want to see, but he's had his 2 solid seasons with the Stockton Kings. So at least the Celtics are filling out the training camp roster.
Yep, I'm sure we'll get a couple more of these at the very least, right? Do you know how many guys they're supposed to have added to the training camp roster by the time it comes
They
around?
can have up to 20 players on the roster, I believe. Or maybe it's around 18 to 20, I think, is the max. And they currently have 13 on the roster, right? Plus the 2A guys. And so they have a little bit of wiggle room to work with here. They can probably sign a few more guys to training camp deals.
Okay. Well, not the worst place to start. The numbers are good. The shooting percentages are really the eye catcher. Plus or above 40% from 3 is always good, especially with the Celtics where they're trying to build out their roster with shooters because Mazzulla loves threes more than anything. So bringing in somebody that can shoot the 3 makes a ton of sense. Will he ever actually play for the Celtics? We don't know.
Up in the air, definitely up in the air. But based on his resume And the way he played in the G League, it makes sense why the Celtics wanted to take a chance on him. Like we said, like maybe you bring in another guy who can play make a little bit, defend. I don't know much about his defense because I'm not familiar with his game, as Shaq said. But looking at his real GM page, he played for Duke, his pre-draft team. So maybe there's a Tatum connection there in terms of just the Duke brotherhood, whatever. Played 2 games for the Stockton Kings, like I said, played well this past year. And in his rookie season in the G League with the Stockton Kings, he didn't shoot the ball well, so he did take an step up in terms of his 3-point shot, which is good. Also shot the ball fairly well in summer league this past year. Played for the 76ers summer league team. He averaged 16 in Vegas, 5 games in Vegas, averaged 16 points, 2.8 rebounds, 2.8 assists, shot 54% from the field and 47% from 3. So pretty clear why the Celtics wanted to take a look at him. He had a great summer league. Just a nice signing. I did think at first he was somebody else. There's also a guy who was in the same draft class as DJ Steward, named DJ Stewart. And so I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure who was at first, but the joke I was going to make was DJ Stewart was a member of the Heat's team, Sioux Falls Skyforce. So I was going to say, they just swapped Justin Champagnie for DJ Stewart, but the Celtics signed DJ Steward, not DJ Stewart. So signing somebody from the Kings G League team instead of the Heat, which make of that what you want. But so Celtics getting Steward.
Had they signed the other guy, it would have been like, why didn't the Heat have interest in him? Because they find every last drop of talent. So
that was the
I guess this is a move with more upside.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Potential's a bit more untapped, I guess. Can't wait to never talk about this guy again.
Yeah, there's your news, though. DJ
Welcome to August.
Of course. Speaking of August, James Harden made sure we did have stuff to talk about in August. He is making waves. He's doing something. So a report originally came out, I think this was Saturday, that the Sixers were like, yeah, we're not trading James Harden. We're keeping him. We're going to bring him to training camp, whatever. Then Sam Amick and some other people, Sam Amick of the Athletic, saying James Harden still doesn't want to be there. Like, of course, and I could have told you that, right? Anybody could have told you that he doesn't want to be there anymore. Then today, James Harden at a camp in China, I believe, right? Is that where he was when he gave the speech? Said twice over. Let me just find the actual quote because it'll take me 2 seconds because it is everywhere on Twitter. And I know he said the same thing twice. This is all people are talking about today, and probably because it's August. James Harden. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Now, you may ask, Jack, Sam, why is this in the Celtics section? Well, this is pretty large implications for the Celtics, considering the Sixers are one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. Doesn't seem like James Harden wants to be in Philadelphia. And if that's the case, Philadelphia might not be that good next year. I mean, they have Joel Embiid, so they will be a playoff team. This isn't saying they're going to fall to like the top pick in the lottery, but without James Harden, as much as you want to joke around, James Harden's not a playoff performer, he's still an all-star caliber player who averaged damn near 21 and 10 last year. I don't know the exact stats, but like he is the second best player on one of the best 3 teams in the Eastern Conference last year, and he doesn't want to be there anymore. And they're probably not going to get a great return based on what we're seeing in the media. So that has big implications for the Celtics in terms of the Eastern Conference standings, as well as like, if you're the Celtics, can you pry pieces away from the Sixers? Like, what are the Sixers going to do? Because if they blow it up, there are pieces the Celtics could maybe target in trades. Obviously, Joel Embiid's like the dream target if you could grab somebody, but like, do they want to keep DeAnthony Melton? Would you grab DeAnthony Melton as a guard? Would you bring in, player X off the bench? Would you there's a lot of ways this could impact the Celtics because they have 2 open roster spots. And from the perspective of the Sixers are a division rival and a conference rival who the Celtics compete with directly. And if they lose James Harden, they're going to be worse. And even if they don't, and they want to bring him back, it's probably not going to end up well for them.
Yeah, of course. With the Celtics, this has always been an interesting thing because Harden has been linked to the Celtics plenty of times. Back in early 2021, late 2020, when he was pretending to be fat in Houston, there was that rumor that Danny Ainge might be in on this trade, and they did have negotiations with Houston to go get Harden. The piece that they refused to include was Jaylen Brown. Here we are 3 years later. James Harden is now forcing his way off his 3rd team in 3 seasons, and Jaylen Brown just signed a Supermax to stick around and has really been successful overall as a Celtic. in that time period. So Boston definitely made the right choice not going to get Harden. Harden's play style doesn't really favor winning team basketball, at least in Boston it doesn't, with the ball dominance and all of that. His play not translating to the playoffs is another thing that really would have hurt the Celtics had they went after Harden, right? So just something I point out anytime I write about this. Game 6, Game 7 against the Celtics this season, no show. 16 points in Game 6, even less in Game 7. 5 turnovers in each game. Straight up gave up in Game 7. He didn't want to be there. Mind you, they wouldn't have got that far if it wasn't for James Harden, who won them Game 1 single-handedly and also hit the game-winning shot in Game 4.
Yeah.
2 games that, again, the Celtics could have very well swept that series. It was one thing we talked about at the time. People were pissed about it, but it's true. They were 2 defensive stops away from a sweep, and James Harden was the guy that prevented the stop, I guess. So there are positives that come with James Harden, just not if you're a Celtics team. It doesn't make any sense to get in on this from a Celtics standpoint.
Not for Harden.
Picking off the other pieces is interesting, though. Someone like DeAnthony Melton would be very interesting. I think he's a good role player. He proved to be an irritant in the playoffs. Against the Celtics, he was a pain in the ass. He had some really good moments. Embiid has always been a guy that we've discussed as a potential Celtic.
Yeah.
He would be a really, really great personality to be here. The fans would really like him. I don't know if they go after him, especially after the Brown extension. It doesn't make sense. They can't trade Brown for another season. And if they were to land Embiid, that would be the avenue they would have to take pretty much almost certainly.
Yeah.
And I also don't know how willing Philly's going to be to trade with Boston. That's an underrated piece of this.
I agree. They probably wouldn't. But like you said, picking off the pieces, you could sit here and make an argument for, just get James Harden because his value's low. Like, realistically, could the Celtics beat a package that the Clippers offer? Probably. But would you give up Brogdon and Robert Williams for James Harden? I wouldn't, personally. Not for 1 year of James Harden. And even if you get him past this year, he's probably like going to be on the decline and want a lot of money. So that's enough for me. But like you said, I think DeAnthony Melton is a very intriguing piece. The Celtics have plenty of guards already, but if you can flip Peyton Pritchard and another salary for DeAnthony Melton, that's an immediate upgrade in that. He's not the same level as Marcus Smart, but he can probably bring that same defensive intensity. He was a great defensive player for Philly last year. He I had the hiccup, second in league in steals, I believe, behind OG Anunoby. So there's something there. Another guy the Celtics showed interest in, Patrick Beverley, signed with that team. And if that blows up and goes in, realistically, if Patrick Beverley doesn't want to be on a Philly team that's in limbo next year, or at the very least, the Sixers are like, let's get something for him. Like, you could trade a second round pick and grab him for a minimum, right? And Philly might take it if they are seriously in a up and down spot. PJ Tucker's another guy. I know you don't like the idea of PJ Tucker. I wouldn't mind the idea of PJ Tucker if you can get him for the right price. What that price is, that's where the question marks come in. Paul Reed, maybe, if you really want to get into like the backup center game. But it's just going to be interesting to see the pathway Philadelphia takes, right? Because from the Celtics perspective, they are going from, the Sixers are going to be one of the top 3, top 4 teams in the East to what's happening in Philly? Like, what are we doing? And realistically, what's the best they get back for James Harden, Sam? Like, who wants to trade for James Harden right now? That's what I'm saying.
Market. We talked about this beforehand. The Clippers, we get Norm Powell. Cool. No other team is going to want this guy. You're just seeing him force himself out of 3 straight teams he's been on. Houston pretended to be fat. Brooklyn pretended to be fat/hurt and eventually got off the team in the Simmons deal. Now Philly, he's publicly coming out slamming the GM for whatever reason. And I know you have a theory on this, whether you want to talk about it now or later. And then being like, I'm not going to play there anymore. I'm not going to training camp. Well, also, maybe don't opt in. How about that? If you didn't want to play on the Sixers, you had a free out to not play on the Sixers. He has no leverage in this situation. I think the NBA should come in and step in and be like, hey, listen, you're not getting paid for the season.
Now,
if this continues.
Listen, I agree that the situation is whack, but I also wonder how much of this is the Sixers being scummy, right? And you can blame James Harden. You're under contract, you play. But at the same time, let's not.
He decided to be under contract. That is the kicker.
I know. Listen. Yes, right? And I acknowledge that. But let me make this point. we can agree that this situation is whack and also agree that as much tampering's not allowed, right? Tampering happens. Literally every single team in the NBA tampers. Everybody. Literally every
Yeah,
single
who gives
player,
a
every
shit?
single team. It happens. Last season, we saw James Harden take a pay cut so the 76ers could sign PJ Tucker, they could sign Daniel House, they could like bring in all these pieces to help them compete, right? And presumably he
Bring
did
in
that.
his guys.
Exactly. Daryl Morey's guys too. They did that presumably with a little wink wink handshake agreement off to the side. You'll get a max extension next summer, James Harden, right? Probably. You have to assume, right? That's probably what happened. Or you at least will take care of you next summer, right? Because otherwise James Harden has no reason to not do that at his age and with whatever's going on. You take the money.
Maybe
and
he
sign
wants
an
to
extension.
win.
Whatever. Right? And then it comes to this summer. Maybe they're like, no, psych, we're going back on that. Which you can say, too bad for Harden, you shouldn't have done it. But that's also just kind of scummy, right? That's kind of a shitty thing to do to your star player. And as much as you want to dislike James Harden, like if somebody did that to, I'm trying to think, Giannis, right? Let's say the Bucks did that to Giannis. Giannis takes a pay cut and they said psych. Everyone would be mad at the Bucks, not Harden. But because Harden has a history, it's easy to blame him. And I'm not saying he's void of blame, right? But like that's just a scummy thing. And on top of that, the beginning of this summer was Harden opting in under the presumption that the Sixers were going to trade him. Like in our minds, it is Harden opted in and requested a trade and doing that. How do we know this wasn't him opting in and Philly saying, fine, yeah, we'll trade you. And then they didn't anticipate the market being this bad. And so they're saying, actually, psych. And at that point, it's like Harden's like, well, I opted in so you could do that, or else I would have opted out. Right. Like it's as much as the focus is going to be on screw James Harden. I also don't think Philly has been the best, team organization handling their star player in this. And I'm not like trying to defend James Harden. I'm also just saying I don't think either side is handling this particularly well. So I can see why James Harden's upset. I also see why dude, you have a history of this. Like, of course you're going to be to blame. Like, but I don't know that Philly is handling this well. And I've seen people talk about both sides on Twitter. I saw Bobby Manning put out a tweet of like, so Harden opts in under the assumption that Philly is going to trade him, presumably because that was what was communicated. And now they double back on that. Like, I'd be mad too. And I mean, that's probably why Daryl Morey is being publicly called a liar in a video that I saw a lot of Twitter people like speculate. Is this AI saying this? Is this an AI version of Harden? But I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird for both sides. I don't think Philly has probably lived up to some of the promises they made to Harden behind the scene, but in their eyes, they said, whoa, but if we ever said that, it would be tampering. So we would never say that. So it just reeks of bad business all around.
I don't know. I don't feel bad. I think Harden's been a scumbag to 2 franchises in the past. He's kind of doing it to a third. This one seems to have the most like which side is wrong to it.
Yeah.
Like there's actually like a debate to it. But okay. You don't want to play in the Sixers? Maybe don't opt in. I understand
That's
there's a
what I'm
money
saying.
aspect, a financial
No.
aspect to it where, okay, if he opts in, he's guaranteed, what is it, $33 million this year?
What I'm saying is our presumption is that Harden in his head was like, I want the money, but also to be on a new team. Let me opt in and request a trade. What if it was Harden sitting down with the Sixers and saying, listen, I don't necessarily want to be here. And it's hard to make this assumption based on the way he's handled himself in the past, but I'm just saying it's not impossible.
All right.
Because
I saw my train of thought. I get it.
That's fine. I saw Bobby speculate on Twitter. It's like, what if Harden sat down with Daryl Morey saying, I don't want to be here. I can opt in and you can trade me, or I can just opt out and leave. And Daryl Morey was like, no, we'll find a trade so we can get something back. And then he's like, actually, we didn't find anything good. And at that point, like, yeah, Harden's mad, right?
This should have been all right. If that's the case, then they both should have been smarter about it. More specifically, Harden, and said, okay, you have till whatever the deadline to opt in is to find a trade.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
And then if not, then it's not happening because you do control that. That's essentially what happened with Porzingis this summer. And why the Celtics had to rush to get it done was because there was a deadline for him to opt into his deal for next year. So the trade could actually happen. If Philly had any trades in place for Harden, they could have done that. They clearly didn't. And the perspective that we get is Harden is just looking to get a payday and doesn't want to be on the Sixers anymore. There's not a lot of good money out there from competitive teams because they've already spent it this summer. So he's like, trade me to where I want to go play.
Also possible. No, it's also possible. I'm
So
just
I
saying.
don't feel bad. I just don't.
I know you
I
don't
don't like
I
Harden. I think he
know.
just
Yeah.
goes about this stuff the wrong way. It's a weird move. I get maybe they said they're going to sign him to a max extension, but would you after what you saw this season? Like, did he have good averages? Yes, he did. He was also injured for a considerable amount of time. He kind of no-showed in the playoffs. He was here and then he wasn't. It was a disappearing act.
Was
in
he
those
their
two
best player in
crucial
the
games.
playoffs? No, seriously though. Was he their best
I'm
player in
trying
the
to
playoffs?
think.
I think he was.
At times,
He
yes,
was.
but also at times, absolutely not. He wasn't
But
consistent
eh,
enough.
but Embiid wasn't there at all. Like
He
Embiid
got hurt.
barely, maybe one game. Still, I guess maybe it was Tobias Harris. I don't know. I if you say yeah, take this pay cut and then we'll give you max extension, and then you don't, it's just bad business. That's scum. Or don't promise it in the first place. Then, like, say you can take a pay cut if you want, but we're not promising anything.
Well, we don't know what was said. We don't.
Exactly. Exactly.
If it was said, sure, I guess. But also, as a player, you have to understand that's subjective. Maybe he feels like he earned it. If you're Philly, I don't know. I guess you can connect this to Jaylen Brown, right? You could be like, well, Jaylen Brown doesn't deserve the contract extension because he was bad against Miami. That is an argument that many people stand by. The two of us, we don't believe that. We're like, he had an all NBA level season. He was great in the first two rounds of the playoffs and so on. So, of course, he deserves the extension. The team has had extended success while he's been a part of it. Can you say the same about Harden? Philly got bounced in the second round last year. He was also kind of hurt last year, getting back up to speed after not playing with the Nets. This year, kind of gets hurt again, comes back. He's okay, has a couple good games against the Celtics. They lose in the second round. I saw somebody on Reddit ask if it's more of his fault or Embiid's, why the team doesn't succeed in the playoffs. But Philly hasn't made it past the second round since, 2001?
Yeah, not great.
So
it's just a weird situation. And again, implications for the Celtics considering they're in the same division and conference. So from as much as we can sit here and blame Harden, blame the Sixers, call it a mess, probably pretty good for the Celtics in terms of the Eastern Conference standings.
Very good. Because
No
it feels like the next thing you have it on here is the hat for Embiid to get out of there.
Yeah, that's probably what's next.
Went out at that public film festival and said, hey, if I win a championship, whether it's in Philadelphia or somewhere else, it's going to be great, essentially. So he already has put it out there. Like, I'm not married to the idea of staying with the 76ers. So keep your eyes out for that. I'm sure he'll have something to say on Twitter. That's how
eyes emoji. Well, eyes emojis there. We'll see what happens. But next Celtics thing, we have a flurry of Celtic signings overseas, and starting with Taco Fall, who was signing in China. Per Shams, he sat down with Shams. Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. Is that what we're talking about?
The obligatory get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. Absolutely. Even though he's already kind of learned it.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's
get ready to take Mandarin 2, the second course.
Sophomore year of Mandarin overseas.
Yes.
Is he going back to the same team? That's my question. It looks like no. Last year he played for the Flying Tigers. This year he's playing for the Monkey Kings. I don't know what the difference is. I am not familiar with records of Chinese basketball. It looks like he is signing for a worse team.
He's interested in the rebuild.
Nanjing Monkey Kings. Who was on this team last year is my question. He is joining Antonio Blakeney on the Monkey Kings, former NBA player. And their former NBA players or former American or whatever you want to call it players this past year were DeMontre Edwards and QJ Peterson. So sounds like they're getting a little bit of an upgrade. Meanwhile, last year, Tacos played with, I'm just going down the rabbit hole now.
Do you have his
Taco
averages
played with
in China last year?
I can get them really quick. Taco played with Chris Clemens last year.
Former Maine Celtic.
And Pierre Jackson, another former Celtic, I believe. No?
Am
I crazy? I thought Pierre Jackson played with the Celtics. Am I crazy?
He could have. I don't remember.
I think I'm thinking of somebody else. Internationally, last year, Taco averaged, he played 33 games, 29 starts. He averaged 13.7 points, 10.1 rebounds, and 3.3 blocks a game, shooting 73% from the field.
He barely miss.
That is pretty good.
I wonder what the money's like over there. It must be decent.
Let's see. Chinese Basketball Association salaries. I wonder if we can see. Salary range $250K to $4.4 million.
Not terrible. I'm sure he's towards the top.
Yeah, most commonly reported salary is $1 to $3 mil. So he's probably making a couple mil to go play there.
Yeah,
not bad.
Good for him.
We take that. Good for Taco. Another former Celtic who is going overseas, Fiondu Kabengele, signing in Greece with AEK Athens. And Sam, you said Ben McLemore is also on the team?
Yep, Ben McLemore also on the team. This is a team that was 6th in their top division in Greece last year. They call it the Basket League. They were 12-10. They have some juggernauts in that league. There was an undefeated team last year.
Really?
Yeah, the best team
Who?
was undefeated.
What
I
was
don't
the
remember
team?
what the team name was.
I got to go find
forget.
it now. And you're
But
gonna-
I was just having a look because I was trying to write about it and add details. They play in the Eurobasket Champions League, whatever it is. They play against the other countries. And, Kabengele will probably get good opportunity there. He just wasn't going to get it in the NBA. He only appeared in 4 games for the Celtics last year, averaged less than 2 points. He got his real run up in Maine.
22-0 Olympiacos in the HEBA standings. I wonder who's on the team.
That
Let's
is
take a look.
a crazy season. Imagine just being undefeated.
I don't see their 22-0 season on here. I see they were last year they went 30-1 in the HEBA League One. I
don't know what the hell it was. It was
crazy. No, I see what you're seeing, but I couldn't find that roster that went like that. Is what I'm saying. On this team that went 30-1 though, see if I recognize any names. Kostas Antetokounmpo, but he doesn't have a number assigned to him, so I don't know if he actually played for the team. Isaiah Canaan, a former NBA player.
Isaiah Cannon. Yeah.
Cannon. Is it Canaan or Cannon? I thought it was Canaan.
Cannon,
whatever. Joel Ballin boy too. But yeah, interesting. At the very least. And also Mustafa Fall there's no way Taco has a brother, right?
I don't think so.
Anyways.
I feel like we all would have known that.
Yeah. He does, but not that guy. And then last one, PJ Dozier is signing with Partizan, another former Celtic. And the only reason I put this on here, I feel like PJ Dozier was like a solid NBA player for a brief stint with the Nuggets, and then he got hurt.
Healthy.
And then it was tough. He's a nice player though. But 3 former Celtics signing overseas, covering the little bit of a news dump. All right. It's August. We have a fun activity that we're going to do. I wrote an article for Nug Love, which is fan-sided Nugget site, which Sam runs. And I built a dream team around Nikola Jokic. And now my stipulations were I saw King of the Fourth Quarter's basketball or newsletter brand, Enjoy Basketball, has done these tweets on Twitter where it's like, build a perfect lineup around this player with this, this, and this. And so my stipulations were you can choose 1 Hall of Fame player, you can choose 1 current All-Star, and you can choose 2 role players. I did current role players, but you can do, role players from whenever you want. So we're going to do that for Jayson Tatum. We're going to build a dream team around Jayson Tatum with 1 Hall of Famer, 1 current All-Star, and 2 role players. I did all current role players, but just because that's where my brain was at. And once my brain got stuck there, I couldn't think of other guys. Now, asterisk here. Stephen Curry is a current player, yes, but he is a Hall of Famer. If he retired today, he would be a Hall of Famer. And so if you want to choose a Steph Curry, a Giannis, LeBron, they are Hall of Fame players. If the player could retire today and be in the Hall of Fame, they fall under the Hall of Fame, not a current All-Star category. So that is what we're going with. All right. Sam and I both built different teams. We have not seen the teams we built. Do you want to reveal the best team we built? I built a couple because I was thinking of some options, but I will go with the best, what I perceive to be the best one we have, and we can rock.
Do we want to go position by position?
Sure. Or do you want to go Hall of Famer and then All-Star and then role players?
Do that one.
Okay. So yeah, I'll roll with this top. No, I'm good. I'll roll with this top, and then we can talk about my other ones. Who is your Hall of Famer that you chose?
I picked Steph Curry. I was back and forth, but I landed on that.
Who were you back and forth between? Because I had Steph Curry.
I don't know why I kind of wanted to pick Elijah Wan and put him at center.
I had Tim Duncan at my center.
The reason why I went away from it because I was like, it doesn't make a ton of sense to have somebody playing on the post.
Yeah,
primarily.
That's why I chose Tim Duncan and rolled him at the center because Tim Duncan wasn't a 3-point shooter. He never took threes, but at least Duncan can shoot the mid-range a little bit, so you have a little more flexibility. So I rolled with Tim Duncan at the center. My secondary lineup does have Steph Curry in it, though, because, Steph Curry is just elite. But I'm going with this main one. I picked Tim Duncan as my Hall of Famer, put him at center. All right, who's your All-Star?
Okay. My All-Star was Rasheed Wallace, another guy that can kind of have a jump shot.
Okay, you went non-current All-Star, so we'll have different teams. That's good.
Yeah.
Rasheed Wallace is the All-Star. Would you play him at the 4 or the 5?
5.
5. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. I went current
go ahead.
All-Star. I picked Tyrese Halliburton. I put him at the 1.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
see, I didn't want to go current. I wanted to be more fun. But that's a great.
Okay, well, whatever. I'll go fuck myself.
No, not like that. But I was trying to think of like good All-Star point guards that were not Hall of Famers, and I feel like there's not a lot.
Chauncey might have been a good bet for you.
Right. So I landed on Curry just because I thought he was the best bet.
Yeah.
But somebody like Halliburton would have been a great choice for that. So good pick.
Something for that. You could have done, I wonder if we could do, how do I find it? All-time leaders in assists. Like, you just look up assist leaders and guys. This is what I did when I was building the Jokic team. I was like, who is assist leader? I was looking for role players. I almost went with Andre Miller as like my point guard for the Jokic
That's
team.
a good one.
As a role player, because he was never an all-star. And so you could rock with him for that. All non-Hall of Famer all-stars, you probably also could, like, that's where it gets a little tricky. Like Baron Davis, could you have gone with, or is he a Hall of Famer? Yeah, Baron Davis could have been an all-star for you that you chose. Yeah, he averaged 9 assists at his peak. That could have been a good choice. But I went Halliburton because I was thinking current players. All right. Who are your 2 role players? Hit me.
My 2 role players were Bruce Bowen and Richard Jefferson.
Good choices. Richard Jefferson was never an all-star?
He was not. I looked.
Shut up. Really?
Yep.
Jefferson. Oh my God, he wasn't an all-star.
Bruce Bowen, 8 all-defensive teams, right around 40% from 3 for his career. What a great pick that would be. And then Jefferson, similar resume where he was a good defender and he could shoot the corner 3.
Great picks. Great picks. I went current players again because that's where my head was at. I picked Derek White because, like,
of course you
can say, I know. I obviously love Derek White, but realistically, you look across the league for 3-and-D guards. He is just the best 3-and-D guard role player. The only other guy I have on another team is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, but then you lose the ball handling. Like, Derek White's just the best 3-and-D role player in the league. All defensive second team shot 38, 39% from 3. There just isn't a better 3-and-D guard to have. And then I picked Keegan Murray as my other role player. Just a good defender, elite 3-point shooter. So my lineup was Tyrese Halliburton, Derek White, Jayson Tatum, Keegan Murray, Tim Duncan.
Mine was Curry, Bruce Bowen, Richard Jefferson, Tatum, and Rasheed Wallace. Tatum was at the 4 for me.
Yeah. Good lineup. Tatum at the 4.
Wanted to get as much shooting as possible.
Yeah, smart. I had a couple other lineups. Did you have any other like guys you bounced between? Like, do you have any other guys you considered?
I had guys I wanted to use, but they ended up being all-star, like one-time all-star guys.
Like who?
I had Rashard Lewis I wanted to use just for shooting with a little bit of size.
That's a good one.
There was like a 2 guard. I forget who it was that I wanted to use, and there was one-time all-star. I was so mad.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was.
I looked at Sean Marion. I thought he'd be good. He can't shoot, but the defense was good, but he was an all-star multiple times. I considered like Josh Smith was never an all-star, but he could never really shoot the ball well, so I didn't think that would like be the perfect fit. I was thinking a guy like let me Google because now I just want to know the question, like best players to never make all-star team. We're looking at Cedric Maxwell never made an all-star team.
Okay, well, there you go.
So that's up there. Mike Conley, but he did a couple years ago. Lamar Odom would have been a really good one. Lamar Odom's a good pick. Ron Harper, Jason Terry.
I looked at Ron Harper. I did not pick him.
Yeah, Jason Terry, Marcus Camby, Rod Strickland, Sam Perkins. All good choices. My second team that I made 3 teams just because I was like pinging back and forth different ideas. I had Steph Curry at the 1, like you had. I had Derek White, Jayson Tatum, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Nick Claxton. I just went all defense and then shooting. And then the last one I had was I wanted to see, like, I had Magic Johnson. I was like, what if you put Tatum with like a crazy, like one of the best playmakers ever? So, and obviously tall and can defend. Magic Johnson, Caldwell Pope, Jayson Tatum, Jaren Jackson, Miles Turner. I like stuck my head.
Miles Turner, good pick.
Thank you. Yeah. I stuck my head like I knew I wanted to put the Hall of Famer at the point guard or the center. I just thought that made most sense next to Tatum because he can play the wing and the forward so well. And then I knew if I didn't have a Hall of Famer who could shoot, everybody else had to be able to shoot. And so that's why with Duncan, I had like 4 shooters. And with Magic Johnson, I had Turner at the 5 so he could shoot. I don't know. It's interesting. Let us know who you would pick. Comment with your lineups.
Al Horford's a good pick in this, actually.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Prime Al Horford as your all-star would be top tier. Or like I wonder, like, you could technically say, okay, don't give me all-star Al Horford. Give me this year Al Horford as my role player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
But
suppose you could do that
is that
too.
cheating at that point?
Kind of.
Picking the
The game would be
all-stars,
much more complicated. Maybe if you had
yeah,
to pick like a season.
a year. Yeah. I just think picking the all-stars is the hardest part because you can't have a Hall of Famer, but you can't have like it's very middle ground. It's tough to find those players. That's why I stayed with like younger guys because like Tyrese Halliburton could be a Hall of Famer eventually, but like if he retired
Not
now,
yet.
he's not close. So I thought that was the best bet. I considered picking Bam too and running. You could go with like
Solid.
Steph, Derek White, Jayson Tatum, pick a forward that can shoot and like defend multiple positions, and then put Bam at the 5. Like that'd be pretty damn good too. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was a fun activity. Again, leave us in the comments. Excuse me. Leave a comment with
What
who
players
you would
would you
choose.
pick?
Let us know.
Who's your 5? Who's stopping them?
Bleacher Report's favorite post. Last Celtics thing we have, Jayson Tatum was at Hall of Fame weekend. He was going up the red carpet, and a Miami Heat fan screamed out to him, "Jayson Tatum, come to the Heat." Tatum looked at the fan. Nah.
Yep.
Shut
At
him
least he's
down.
honest.
Yeah.
Imagine if he like shrugged. We'd all be like building on fire, pulled a fire alarm. Now Jayson Tatum's a flight risk. He didn't like the Jaylen Brown contract, etc.
Let's take a look. This is, I'm sure you can hear it. Jason. Come to the Heat. He just goes, nah, Jason.
I wonder if he has a hate for the Heat. I feel like they're getting to the point where they've played them enough times in the playoffs where he does a little bit.
I think he hates the Heat. I think everybody in the Celtics roster right now dislikes the Heat.
Well, especially right now, but like even in general,
Yeah.
I wonder if there is like a rivalry where it's like the players feel it, because we don't.
No, that's what I'm saying.
As
Yeah.
NBA fans, we don't feel that stuff as much anymore. Of course, the Celtics have rivalries with different teams just because of history. Obviously, the Lakers, every time there's a Lakers game, all of us fans kind of get up for it. The players have an understanding of what it's like, so they get up for it. Philadelphia, I guess, is a rival because they've played them in the playoffs a considerable amount recently. They've both been on the same track or trajectory as they try and compete for a title.
They also have the history too.
Miami is like a team where you're starting to get a little bit of history, and now you're starting to get another era of a back and forth. Like 10 years ago, 2010, 2011, 2012, the Celtics played them in the playoffs. Now you've had 3 out of the 4 years the Celtics have played them in the playoffs again, all in the conference finals.
Yeah, this is one of the NBA's only like new like real rivalries that's like over and over and over again. You see it like the only other one you can really compare, Golden State Memphis is another pretty good one. They've a few seasons in a row they've run into each other. They're probably developing that rivalry here, but like you haven't seen this sort of thing with like the same players on both teams facing off against each other, you know, in the playoffs every year. Like it has been Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown versus Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo for 3 out of the past 4 years in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's doesn't happen anymore. Like that the last time that happened, it was the finals and it was the Cavs and Golden State. Like these are just 2 of the best teams in the East. And yeah, I think it's pretty clear. Jayson Tatum is just like, nah, no thanks. No, fuck those guys. See you later.
I'm trying to think if there are any other rivalries. I feel like Dallas Phoenix is budding into a rivalry.
Growing a little. I think if they play in the playoffs this year, it'll really like
oddly enough, Denver doesn't seem to have any rivals.
No, well, realistically, they didn't really have to fight too hard this year. They just kind of rolled through everybody.
I don't know. They've lost a lot of their bench. They lost Bruce Brown, lost Jeff Green. Konkar tore his ACL. He's not playing this season. Like they're without wing depth on the bench right now. Of course, Christian Brown's going to be better. They drafted Strother.
Hunter Tyson was like first team all summer league. Like they have another guy coming up the ranks. They'll be okay, but they don't, like you said, they don't really have any rivalries. Philly Boston is another one that's like become clear because
Milwaukee.
Yeah, Boston Milwaukee. It's just the Celtics and every other team.
Well, it's because
actually the Heat Milwaukee too. They played each other a few times in the playoffs.
Yes.
And the Heat have gotten better.
Well, they played each other 2020, 2021, and now this year.
Yeah.
They did not. No, they didn't play last year.
Just they've played each other every year. The Celtics and the Heat have played each other. Almost every
Wrong.
No.
They took turns.
Sorry, yeah, they took turns. My bad. It's 2 of the years. 2 of the years they played each other the same year. I don't know what it was. Yeah, because in 2020 they played each other and the Celtics played the Heat, and then this past year they play each other and the
2022.
Celtics play the Heat.
Celtics played both teams.
Yes. And in the other 2 years, the Heat played both teams. Those three teams are really it's kind of like those three teams are really fighting for the top of the East, and Philly's like the younger brother. Guys, I want to play too. Like,
Yeah, Philly. Well, they're not going to get to play.
no, they're not going to get to play. But it's comforting to hear Jayson Tatum say, "No, I don't want to go to the Heat." Because, like you said, if he had just shaken it off, it would have been like, "Oh, drama." But I've seen a lot of Celtics fans on Twitter saying like all these Heat fans are saying they're so much better than the Celtics, and they're begging Jayson Tatum to come to the Heat. Also, like, as much as like that's funny, haha, it's like a 9-year-old kid. Like, let's not act like this is the entire Heat Nation. This is a child seeing Jayson Tatum, a player he likes, saying, "Oh, come play for my favorite team." Like, get out of here. But fun video, interesting from All-Star Weekend. Just fun video to see.
I know we don't have this on the sheet, but I'm looking for a different piece of this Harden thing, and one of the headlines on Bleacher Report is agent, quote unquote, wouldn't be surprised if Harden wins MVP next year.
I saw this. Let's go to NBA. I'll move it blue.
Yeah.
We're talking a little more James Harden, and we don't have to dive too deep because we got pretty deep into it when we talked about it in the realm of how it affects the Celtics. But I did see that quote. Wouldn't be surprised if Harden wins MVP. Shocker, agent and player promoting the player. My thing that I wanted to talk about, where is he going to go? Like, outside of the Clippers, which you can see why that obviously makes sense. What other team is making a trade for James Harden?
Yeah, I don't know. Bleacher Report had some ideas, and we'll go through them. But realistically, who wants that guy that can afford him and by getting him gets better? I just don't think there's that many situations out there. Toronto can probably afford him. They're a team that's mentioned in the Bleacher Report piece. But is it worth it for them? Does getting Harden make them relevant? No, I don't think so. I think that makes them a fun 6 seed. They are the Brooklyn Nets from last year.
I think they could be top 5 team, top 4, but the East is just too stacked. Bill Simmons tweeted out, "Here's the funny thing. There is no Harden trade. Chicago isn't trading DeRozan. Clips aren't giving up anything. Younger teams don't want him. Contenders can't risk it. That leaves only one candidate, an embattled franchise with a history of foolish risks, and it's just Washington."
That would be funny if they just went and got Harden when they're trying to rebuild already.
It'd be a dub for the Sixers. You could probably get some decent assets if Washington was stupid enough.
Sixers are not getting any deal done with anybody. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, there's not much.
Nobody would want him.
I saw the Pelicans floated. It's like a CJ McCollum, but like
maybe. Okay, maybe I can see that.
I'm not doing that.
New Orleans is a small market. They have some room for desperation where everybody saw what New Orleans was capable of last year when everybody was healthy. They were first in the Western Conference, I want to say 2 months into the season. Then Zion goes down and they kind of slowly trickle down the ever so tight Western Conference race that was last year, where what was it? 3rd and 11th were separated by 2 or 3 games. Nuts playoff race there. Bleacher Report also floats the Sacramento Kings as a team that might want to go for Harden. There's no sourcing on this. They're just kind of piecing together. They have X amount of assets. They might be able to make Philly happy in a deal. The argument, Sacramento Kings could be a viable trade partner. They're hoping to build off momentum of last season's 3rd place finish in the West and could be open to a splash move this offseason. They have multiple trade assets such as Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, Davion Mitchell, and Trey Lyles. If you're a Philly fan and they trade Harden for those guys, that's head in hand stuff.
Yeah, that's not great. Not great at all. Another team, the Jazz are interested in Dame. This is like a lower risk Dame if you really want to talk about it. But again, if you're Philly, you're getting Clarkson and Sexton back, and it's probably not great.
It's not the best, but probably better than the Kings package, right?
Yeah.
With picks? Because Utah owns all those Minnesota picks, depending on how many they would be willing to give up, could be valuable for Philly. I don't see anything interesting happening with this. It's tough to see. Windhorst went on TV today and said that all trades are stalling out right now. Like there's no trade talks happening. That's another wrinkle to this. So Who knows what's going to happen with Harden? And with all the forcing his way out, who wants him? If you're a front office watching this happen, you're like, oh, I don't want that guy on my team.
No.
Not worth the risk. He's just not. Whether he's still a viable player or not, sure, he averaged 23 and 10, like you said, good numbers. Does it feel like he impacts winning enough to deal with this? No. To deal with him maybe forcing his way out halfway through the season if he doesn't get what he wants? Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, I agree. This whole Harden situation is weird. If I'm another team, I'm staying away from him like the plague. It's just not worth it.
I love that no one's getting their way right now.
It's just not happening. Summer. The summer of Sam. Well, actually, I don't think we should call it that. Maybe not.
Why not?
I think that's like a serial killer.
No, Son of Sam.
Son of Sam. Yeah, sorry, same thing. Yeah. Summer of Sam is it's a movie. During the summer of 1977, a killer known as the Son of Sam. It was the movie about the Son of Sam was called the Summer of Sam. But
killing superstar trade hooks, slaughtering them. People are listening to the pod and they're like, "Yeah, we should spite these guys and not trade them."
Yeah, maybe
the GMs like they start hearing me rant and they just start slowly nodding. They're like, "Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not going to trade him to where he wants to get traded to."
Sam's loving this. This is Sam's.
He turns to his assistant.
Favorite.
Block Pat Riley's number for me.
Yeah, of course. And one player who's not in trade rumors is Nikola Jokic. He is chilling in Serbia with Aaron Gordon, watching some horses. Sam, you put this on the show sheet. Do you want to explain?
Yeah, Jokic loves the horses.
Loves it.
They were out this weekend. Aaron Gordon went overseas to visit him, and they went to the racetrack. Jokic had 3 horses race. Shout out to Devin, who wrote this for Nuglove.
Yeah.
And one of his horses took first. The other 2 won silvers in their races. And Jokic got a trophy that looked like something you would get at your local awards store, like where they make the trophies for like Little League. And him and Aaron Gordon were hoisting that thing like they just won another NBA title.
Here, I'll share the picture for you. Here we go. Here's Aaron Gordon. If you're watching on YouTube, Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic.
Like, does that not look like just like, oh, my Little League team won the league this year?
They're hyped, man. Come on. They're excited about the horse racing.
Jokic more excited about the horses than the NBA title. I know it's an angle that's been beat into the ground, but he looks so thrilled there compared to when he won and they were asking him about it. He's like, yeah, okay, I can go home.
I love it. I love Jokic. How do you not like Jokic? Like he's just hanging out.
Beat your team.
Yeah, that's probably one way. Lakers fans probably don't love Jokic, but he just doesn't give a shit. He's just hanging out. He's chilling with Aaron Gordon in Serbia, watching some horse racing. What a beast!
Little tan.
What a guy! What a beast! Yeah, no, Jokic and Gordon having a good time out in Serbia watching some horse racing. Next thing we have Timberwolves drop some new jerseys. The jersey summer of heat is thriving. Sam, you brought this up a couple weeks ago. Seen a lot of good jerseys this summer. The Suns, the Kings, Pelicans won. Not as good.
No,
but
the Pelicans dropped a G League jersey.
Timberwolves did drop some new jerseys inspired by the lakes up in Minnesota. I believe is City Edition inspiration. Young Gravy, the rapper, debuted them for them.
He did.
Yeah. You want to see? Here, I got the video. Let me find.
Because you sent me the thing of Mike Conley.
That was their Twitter debut, but like in person, Young Gravy.
For Young Gravy.
All right, let's see. He's got a robe on.
He's chilling.
He's pretty tall.
He is. He's very tall. Debut in the jerseys. You can see it. Got the lake design on it. We'll find the picture of Mike Conley and Naz Reid.
I like the jerseys. I think they have a cool gradient design.
Yeah.
They look good with the t-shirt. Say that about Naz Reid. He looks sharp.
Got the waves in there. They're cool. I enjoy them. I like them. People don't like them. People do like them. People are going to dislike and like stuff all over the place. But I think they're cool.
Looks like they're playing volleyball.
They're different. Yeah, that's a bit odd. But they're different. They're cool. I don't mind the jerseys. City Edition. They're nice.
Rank the jerseys. From the summer.
Suns best, Kings second, that third, and Pelicans on their own strategy.
I like the old school Kings font. I almost lean that over the Suns.
Cool.
I think the Suns have that weird, like it still has something that's off about it to me. I have to pull it up now so I can like best explain it to you. but the way that their font matches the design behind it, it just doesn't look natural to me. Let me just see if
It's because on the white jersey, the Suns lettering is white, which matches.
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, it looks
figured.
weird. But I don't know what color they should have done instead. Purple?
Black. I don't know. That part's a bit weird. Excuse me, but yeah, Timberwolves rocking the new jerseys. They have come out with their new jerseys, and I like them. I think they're fine. I think they're cool. I spent this weekend at the Hall of Fame. Obviously, we talked about my first day there on the last podcast, but second day there was also fun. Cam about to buy of Celtics Wire came down to join me for the second day. He talked to a couple people. I was behind the camera because I was introverted, which I need to get over. That's probably my biggest problem. But we talked to Kentucky coach John Calipari about Greg Popovich and some other, and Wemby, I believe, too. So that was cool. We talked to, we pulled Boris Diaw aside on the red carpet, asked him a couple questions. Cam was like, do you have 30 seconds to talk about stuff? He goes, if the 30 seconds are what it takes for this line to clear up, then yeah, I have 30 seconds. And we talked to him for like a minute. It was cool. We saw a bunch of people on the red carpet. We left before the actual ceremony though, because like it was either stay for the whole ceremony and stay in a hotel one night, or watch a ceremony on TV later that night and just go home. And I think we were both tired.
Drove home
At 11, 2 hour, an hour and a half, 2 hour drive at 11. Yes, I was exhausted. I didn't.
You drive home.
I didn't want to drive that late.
Oh, I do. You don't.
No, I don't. What the hell? You're wrong.
I've done the drive before.
I did not want to drive that late or stay in a hotel. I was just exhausted. And we didn't have seats. It was stay in the media room and watch, which didn't have AC. So I didn't want to sit in the media room.
No, that was a good call by you. I wouldn't have wanted to be in there. If essentially it's hot and you're not getting any added bonus to being there besides what you got to do beforehand. Exactly. There's no reason to just sit there and watch it on TV when you could go home.
Exactly. Yeah. So we headed out, but it was a good weekend. It was fun getting those things. And now our last thing before the rat list, Sam's Reddit post of the day. So I'll let you take this over.
Yes, this was posted on the NBA subreddit, I think yesterday, by user Ingomatics. He says, what do you think is the worst decision an NBA player has made? He goes, I was on Twitter and someone had said Kawhi leaving the Raptors was the biggest mistake in NBA history. I personally don't think that, in parentheses. I think Dennis Schroeder turning down $84 million can be beat. But it piqued my interest as to what other notable mistakes NBA players made are. Keep discussions civil and informative. So I've got some replies for you, but is there anything that jumps out at you, Jack?
Biggest mistakes. I see what you have here is like the Kawhi one, leaving the Raptors. I think like he wanted to go to LA. I don't know if he would regret that decision because like he just wanted to be where he wanted to be. Other like mistakes is a weird one. Like if you want to talk about literal on-court mistakes, like J.R. Smith, like not shooting ball. You mean like decisions to leave and decisions
to leave, turning down contracts. For example, he uses the Schroeder one where he could have got a lot of money from the Lakers.
Yeah. Shaq leaving LA, like being so upset
that's
with
a good
Kobe. One. I think that's probably the biggest one that makes sense. Michael Jordan deciding to retire and play baseball.
That's a good one.
Probably one that probably shouldn't have happened.
We've got
LeBron staying in Cleveland for as long as he did. Like realistically,
he had to stay there.
I know he did. But like if he was today, I'm saying if he did that, if you moved 2003 to like 2013, he would have requested a trade during his second stint.
I don't know. Has any player done that recently where they haven't got out of their second contract and they requested a trade? Ben Simmons doesn't count. He's a bomb. Ben Simmons not learning to shoot threes, bad decision.
Yeah, not a great decision.
Being afraid to shoot the ball, bad decision. Some of the better replies, somebody mentioned Victor Oladipo turning down not one, but two contract extensions, one with Houston, the other with the Pacers, I believe. Both of them very lucrative, and then he got hurt. Somebody said, top reply, Jay Williams riding a motorcycle.
Yeah. It's so messed up.
Somebody said, along with Larry Bird building his mother's driveway. Very true. Let's see. What else do we have? Off the top of my head, I don't really... Sprewell needing to feed his family, somebody said. I'm pretty sure he turned down a good size deal from the Knicks or Timberwolves. I don't remember who it was. I think it was the Timberwolves, and it caused the downfall of that KG era, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been the other way where it was the Knicks. Nerlens Noel turned down $80 million or $70 million rather, with the Dallas Mavericks.
Yep.
Oof. Some of these are tough. I think that's all we got. That was a quick one.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Oh boy.
No, I think Shaq and Michael Jordan are probably the biggest.
Oh, this is a really long one. I'm not going to read it. Because it's kind of confusing. Right. I read this before and I didn't completely get it, but.
All right. I got you. All right. You want to move on to the rat list then in that case?
Go ahead. We can
All
move
right.
on.
Well, I guess we should explain it because we're on CLNS now too. If you're listening to us on the CLNS Media channel, the rat list is us.
Rat list them.
No.
It's like,
never.
what?
The rat list is when Sam and I complain about stuff effectively. So examples are people. That's what we do. Is that not
Somebody
what we are?
said Gilbert Arenas bring a gun into the locker room.
That is a rat list move, and it is also a mistake. Examples of rat list are people running red lights, people who drive too slow on the motorways or whatever, highways, whatever you call it, drivers who go too slow. I often rat list people at golf who talk during my backswing. And I'll kickstart today. I'll rat list my mom, who hates being on the rat list, but I'm going to rat list her. I was with my sister and my sister's boyfriend. We were driving to get ice cream, and we were meeting my brother and his girlfriend. We like had a family dinner at my dad's, and we were stopping somewhere on the way back. I call my mom to see what she wants. If she wants ice cream, doesn't answer the phone. Whatever, fine. My sister's boyfriend Zach calls her, answers the phone. Rat list. We're answering him over me. I told her she was getting rat listed, and she hates being on the rat list, but it is happening. So she is she's not happy with it, but I am mad because I got ignored by my own mother. So rat list for not answering my phone. Yeah,
I'll do a rat list for you. Rat list the slot machines at Mohegan Sun. So Jack and I, after we recorded the last episode of the pod, met up at Mohegan Sun because Jack was there for the Basketball Hall of Fame events earlier in the day. He was in the area. So we went. Jack never gambled at the casino before like that. Played the tables. Jack wanted to try the slot machines, and he got absolutely murdered fast. They made Jack pay out to play each spin, and it was quick. You lost some of like the money you would put in the machine in like 3 or 4 spins. Like, it wasn't worth your money.
Yeah, no, it was bad. I mean, we played blackjack first, and I came in with like a certain amount of money, so I only lost like 120 on the day, and that was just like what I mentally was accepted that I would lose. Like, it was fine. So yeah, I had like a certain amount after blackjack, and I was like, oh, let's just go have fun and play some of these slot machines. I don't have a problem with slots, but I just want to know why I'm losing. Like, I don't care if I lose. I just want to understand why I'm losing, and I don't on most of the slot machines. So Sam won big at blackjack. Though,
I had a pretty good day at the casino.
That eights, the match the dealer, that was
I got 2 suited matches on the same hand, so I got paid like $100 on a hand. It was pretty crazy.
That was big time. That was big time. Did I rat list Mohegan Sun last time because of the directions? I think I did. I think that was last podcast.
Oh, you might have. That's double rat list for them. They took your money.
They did,
and your confusion with getting around the casino.
Directions. Yeah, I did rat list that. I'm trying to think. I've only been back in town for like a day. What else can I rat list? Do you have any more? I'm trying to think right now. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Oh, yes, I can. So I drove back from Springfield, left the Hall of Fame, and I had my stuff with me, so I just left right from the ceremony. I could not figure out how to get out of Springfield. I took like 3 laps around the city before I figured out how to get on the highway. And it's because the way it works, I came out of the parking lot. You take a left, you go around, and then you're supposed to take a left and immediately get on an on-ramp. But I didn't know that for the first 2 times because my Google directions don't like separate them well enough. And so I ended up taking laps around and around like 3 times. It took me 20 minutes to find the on-ramp. So that pissed me off. The drive back was fine. I got some McDonald's because I didn't eat a lot that day. That was fine. Stopped, whatever. Got back into my town. And the roads in my town are like 40 miles an hour, right? I was going 25 the whole way home when I got back to my town. Just stuck behind a car.
Oh,
some car going 25 miles an hour in a 40. I was so angry. I almost passed them. it was inexplicable. They were like putting their brakes on around turns and like stopping so they could turn. It was maybe some of the worst driving I've ever seen in my life. It was truly horrendous.
That's enough to ruin your day.
Ratless. It really did. Really did ruin my day. I was very angry. And this was late too. This was a long day. I got up early for me. So I was like up at 8 a.m. I was getting home at like 10:30. I was exhausted. I still had a little bit of writing to do. So I had to get inside, edit the podcast, last podcast, get it uploaded. And I was it took me an extra 5 minutes to get home, and it was just enough to make me real mad. So Ratless, the driver who doesn't know how to drive, terrible.
Ratless, my friends, some of them. We were playing Xbox yesterday, and I haven't played Xbox with like a group of 4+ a very long time. It's been a while. And we were playing games, and in between games, it was taking a real long time for everybody to get ready for the next game.
Yep.
It was the step away. We were playing Dead by Daylight yesterday.
Yeah. Oh,
and
good game.
In between, the one kid just disappeared. He didn't say a word.
Yeah, that's right.
And it led to me getting off because I was like kind of tired and I wanted to watch some TV before I went and played basketball. Just nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you go? Nothing. People calling him nothing.
Are we gonna name drop? Are we gonna name drop this person?
No.
Or are we gonna leave him
No.
be? How was ball? I couldn't go to basketball last night. I was sad.
It was good. I played 6 games, lost once. I had to do a lot, but I was good enough to win. So that's really what matters.
There you go. I wish I could go. We had dinner at my dad's, which was good. No complaints, but just I haven't been to ball in 3 weeks now because I was on the Cape, then ball got canceled, and then dinner at my dad's.
That's right.
So not fun. I wish I could have been at ball.
Ratless the Rain canceled my game yesterday. Tough.
That'll do it. I'm trying to think what else I got. I don't know if I have many more Ratless outside of the driving back because just traffic was or people don't know how to drive. Oh, Ratless trucks who drive in the middle and left lane. Stop. Just
Good call.
Go to the right
beat me
lane.
to it.
Yeah. Were you gonna say this too? Something?
Yeah, because I was on the Mass Pike Saturday going to Springfield. I went to Six Flags. Jack went to the and I'm like, why are there so many trucks on this road? There's so many trucks. They're all driving slow and they're all in the way. And then there's the people that won't pass the truck. They're just driving fast enough to make a wall. That was the worst.
Yep.
Any highway the size of the Mass Pike, as long as it goes, the amount of towns you can get to using it should be more than 2 lanes. It's not like they're like, trying to preserve buildings on the side of the highway. It's all trees.
Yeah.
Just branch out a little bit more.
I agree. Trucks who just drive in the middle lane. And like you said, the people who drive, and this can go like beyond just trucks. If you drive just fast enough to keep up with the car, fuck off. Go around him or stay behind.
Don't make a wall.
That's what I'm saying. And another bad thing, we for those new listeners on CLNS, we Ratless people who go too slow, right? The acceptable speed on the highway, which is 65, go 70 to 75, right? 75 is probably even the low end, right? You go in the 70s somewhere, right? That's a pretty wide 10-mile-an-hour range. And if you want to go on the 70 side, you maybe stay in the middle lane or even the far right lane if you want to. And if you want to go, 75 or even encroaching on 80, which we're not, what it is what it is. We're not going to try to get go to court. Wink, like saying the other day. You go in the left lane. If I'm going 75 in the middle lane, respectable speed, right? I feel like that's a standard speed. And I am getting tailgated in the middle lane. Just pass me. Stop. Get off my ass. I'm going a normal speed. Either drive a normal speed behind me or go around me. Stop. It's not like I'm going 60 and you're tailgating me to make a point. You're just being a dick. Also, Ratless people who pass in the right lane. There's just no need. I got like encroached upon. I'm going 75 and these two people are going like 70, like 77 to pass me on either side, right? And so I'm sitting there in the middle lane, like going my speed, whatever. And then they're like slowly encroaching behind me to where they're sandwiching me. If you're going to pass somebody, go fast enough to pass them quickly. Don't stay by my side for like multiple miles. Go around. That's people piss me off. And the trucks thing, stay out of the middle and left lane. It's not built for you. That's not there for you. I don't care if you're going fast for a truck. I don't want to be next to a truck. Fuck off. Go away. Trucks, Ratless. They don't know the drive either.
Ratless, the kid at Six Flags. Well, This is like a 2-part rat list.
Hit me.
The fast pass people at Six Flags, kind of rat list, kind of not. I mean, you pay the money, But standing in line is like they get to go up is kind of annoying. But the more annoying part was I was on, I think it's Thunderbolt, the wooden one. Not that you don't like this stuff. But
no, I'm not a fan.
These kids were like at the front of the fast pass line. They must have played one of those like prize games where they win whatever. And the one kid had a basketball and he like straight lost it and it hit the roller coaster as we were about to leave.
What the hell?
Yeah, like it bounced off the cart. Somebody like go get your kid. What is your kid doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing? Weird anti-rat list. So my music program in middle school would take a trip to Six Flags every year. This is more of a story than the rat list, but that's what this portion of the podcast is for. So we would take a trip to Six Flags. We'd do some performance at something up there in Springfield, is where it is, right? And then we'd go to Six Flags for the day. I didn't like roller coasters. I still don't. Just not a fan. I don't like high speed stuff. I am the opposite of adrenaline junkie. It freaks me out. I don't enjoy it. So I just don't do it. But in turn, I spent my entire day playing the games at Six Flags. Like that's what I enjoyed. Okay. And then one year, I'll rat list myself actually because Kid Jack was an asshole. I won like 4 basketballs, right? I was on a heater, right? And we went there on a bus. So I brought them all on the bus. One of my friends, and it's not like a friend I'm still friends with, it was just like another kid who's like, oh, can I have one? I was like, no. I was like, no, they're mine. That's what I'm saying. But like in hindsight, they just sat in the closet. Like I could have just given the kid a basketball and I was just a dick. And I was like, no, and it was because, like you said, I won them. So I was proud that I won them. Because they scam you on those games too. It's not easy to make that shot. The rims are tight and you gotta hit it. So
I love the games because you pay that money to win something that you'll never use again. Like you said, they just sit in the closet.
Of course.
They're not nice basketballs. Like if you're gonna go play, you don't use those.
I got the logo
the stuffed animals. They had these big ass peppers that people were walking around with. Like the bananas.
Yeah.
It was a pepper. That's the new thing. They had peppers. And I was like,
sure.
Who wants that? Who's winning that?
Yeah. Odd. Very odd. Yeah. And the basketballs I got to were team basketballs. So I like picked teams. And randomly enough, the only one that survived more than a week just because it either didn't pop or like held up or it's when I used it was the New Orleans Hornets. So I just had like a teal and yellow basketball rocking around my house that I used all the time.
You know what was the weirdest prize I saw?
Yeah.
You know how they have the basketball game where you shoot the threes, like you try and make it. It's like a 3-point contest, and the prize tiers go up.
It's far away. The one that's
it's threes. They had Lance Stevenson Pacers jerseys
lined up like a bunch of them.
They had like 6 of them on the fence. You could win and it's not like when he was good. It's like the new Pacers jerseys, like with the words make the circle on the front.
Oh,
yeah. No. These aren't even the old ones. This is from his recent stint, like last year, whenever he played there.
That's weird. That's
so whack. Another rat list to the amusement park is I did not enjoy the roller coaster that did not have the shoulder harness thing. They just had the bar.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean, listen, it was still secure. Make no mistake. But I felt like I was like, I could fall out of this. I had a seatbelt on. I had the bar pressed all the way down. Like I was secure. But like when your chest can move after all the other ones have the thing holding you back, I was like, oh man, I could fall out of this. This isn't going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it was my girlfriend's favorite ride. It was her favorite. She loved it.
Yeah, out on roller coasters. I can't do it, man. I went on one roller coaster in my life. Have you ever been to Storyland? It's up in New Hampshire, I think.
I have not been. No.
Do you know what it is, though? Right? It's like
I think I'm thining of Santa's Village, but it's like a shitty
it's
like
the
little
same
thing.
thing. Yeah. Santa's Village, Storyland, same thing. Let me find a picture quick of Storyland. So for those wondering, can you take Matt the Rat off the screen? Oh, CLNS viewers, this is Matt the Rat. This is our Rat List mascot. So this is Storyland. For those wondering, it is Cinderella. It is Fables. It is Humpty Dumpty. It is it's like whatever. So the one roller coaster I've ever been on is the Polar Coaster at Storyland. And it's not like a baby roller coaster. It's like an actual one, but it is a kid's roller coaster, right? It's not like this is the whole thing, right? This is the whole roller coaster. And so I got on the roller coaster because I knew I didn't want to do it. Like I knew I wasn't a fan, but I was like, okay, I'll try it. I was like 8, maybe 7, like
Sure.
a young kid. Go on, get off, vomit. Never been on a roller coaster.
Oh no.
It just, I could not handle it. I was next to my dad, stayed silent the whole time. And I just threw up right after the ride. And I have yet to be, this was again, I was 8. So this is over 12, 13 years ago. Haven't been on one since. Can't do it.
When we're on the roller coasters, I like turn into Mike Gorman. Like we go down the drop and I'm just like, whoa, you know how he does that? Like when somebody does like a big dunk, like that's what I do when I go down the drop. I'm like, whoa. And I'm like kind of fearing for my life, but also enjoying it.
Yeah.
We went on the big tower at the very end of the day. You know what I'm talking about? You go all the way up
and you drop.
Oh yeah. So
no.
When we were in line, they are running 2 towers. There's one tower that is going up very slow, and then you go all the way up and drop.
Yeah.
There's another tower. These are the same height. There's just 3 of them. That you're at the bottom, like you go up and like you're waiting, and then it just shoots you up real fast. Like, like 0 to 60, whatever it is. Like you go all the way up fast. I was like, shit, like I hope we don't get that one. And that's the one we got.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, definitely way better than going up slow, because as soon as we left and got shot up, I was like, all right, like we're all right. We're good. We're good. We're good. There's no anticipation. The anticipation is at the very beginning when you're just sitting there.
Yep.
Oh man. That's one of my favorite rides, but I cannot do it without being anxious. Like every single time I go on it is nerve-wracking. Waiting in line was nerve-wracking, but it is probably my favorite one.
Do you know what the one ride that looks like the worst to me? It's the slingshot one where you strap in, they just sling you up on 2 bungee cords.
I would never
you know
do
what I'm talking
that.
about?
That one I'm never doing.
That's a death trap. That looks horrendous. That's horrible.
Essentially what this felt like, though, is we went way up. Back down fast, and then you had to go up. Then they bring you back up slow, and then they drop you again.
That's awful. Yeah, no, you couldn't pay me money. That sounds horrible.
We should do a video where we go and like you literally get paid for like every ride you do. Like we'll put a price on every single one.
You couldn't pay me. I would not do it. I value my life, and in my mind, I'm gonna die, so I will not do it. It's like bungee jumping. You couldn't pay me enough money in the world to bungee jump. Are you kidding?
No, I wouldn't want to do that.
You know what I'm saying? Let me just attach my life to a 2 centimeter wide piece of rubber.
Maybe after a bad week.
All right. Before we get to the outro, you guys left us some rat lists in the comments, and so we're gonna go take a look at those. If you are a new viewer on CLNS, make sure to check out the comments. I don't know where I was going with that. Make sure to leave us a rat list in the comments is what I was trying to say. Leave us some of your pet peeves, some things that have annoyed you. We'll read them on the podcast. And so I'm going to go through our comments here, and we're going to scroll through. I'll move Matt the Rat first, and we're going to share some of your guys' rat lists. I don't know exactly where they all are, but we'll look for rat list stuff.
Okay, deal.
Joey Spatula, long time listener and viewer of the podcast, said rat list jacks indigestion. Which I agree. I also rat list this. It's not fun. I don't enjoy it as I get indigestion. So rat list that.
There you go.
Sean is rat listing another commenter who, sure, if you'd like to rat list each other, you can. He's
hostile comments.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. What else do I got? What else do we got for rat list? Maybe I should
definitely a couple of them.
That's what I'm saying. Should I search rat list? In the top,
get rid of the X that you haven't responded, just in case.
You're good. Good call. Nice comment here. Thank you very much. Obviously, what if this is a good what if?
People that get in their car in a busy parking lot and then don't move for 15 minutes. That is a really good one. List. Especially like just you see the lights go on and you're like, oh, okay, all right. We got a spot.
See,
it's close.
I do this. Like I sit in my car for a minute, but not if it's busy. Like if it's busy, I'll leave. If it's like an empty parking lot, I'll chill there.
I truly don't actually think about it, but I don't think I ever sit in my car that long in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Rattlers and Digestion. We saw this already. Randon, combined rat list with Landon, another longtime listener, received the highest number of hearts. Obviously, legend. People who are suddenly on your ass before they turn off onto a highway on ramp, then give you the finger as if they're safely on the ramp. Thought about driving across the grass onto the ramp to drag them out of their car, but I've started meditating. Rhode Island is mayhem. Shout out Landon. Yeah, definitely rat list. People don't know how to exit the highway. I saw a video on TikTok of a cop. sitting next to a highway exit, and anybody who tried to get into the skip the traffic and get in right before the on ramp, he pulled them over. He got them out of there. So he was protecting the rat list. Any more rat lists? Thank you to Uni for the kind comments. Another rat list symbol there. I'm looking to see if we missed.
Oh my God, there's that long thread between those two guys beefing.
Yeah, Sean rat listed ill. So these guys are having beef
go
in our
root
comments.
for another team, he said.
Yeah, the stupidity. Also the video. Yeah. They're mad at each other. And I don't even think that's the end. Yeah. It doesn't
Oh my
even end
God.
there.
There's
Wait.
more.
Oh my God. Yeah, okay. They got very angry at each other. So there is that. Any more rat lists that we missed? I think this might be all of the rat lists we had. Somebody getting mad at me for overvaluing Grant.
We
rat list the old
time.
dudes. We did these?
Yep.
We can't read. Yes. I also said Sam picks up my calls. No, don't worry about it. Yeah, leave us a rat list in the comments. Make sure you tune in, and we will make sure to read them on the next podcast. But anyways, thank you very much to all you guys for watching. Thank you to CLNS for bringing us on board. If you're watching on CLNS, make sure to subscribe to the How About Them Celtics channel. We post podcasts every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. You'll probably see them a day later on CLNS. So if you want to be up to date, make sure to subscribe to How About Them Celtics. And you'll also get our daily uploads. We upload 10 to 30-minute videos on a variety of topics every other day of the week. Today we uploaded one about Kenneth Faried and other free agents. Kenneth Faried, who we think would be a pretty good fit on the Celtics. I think that'd be a good signing. But check that out. Subscribe to How About Them Celtics. Leave us 5 stars on Apple and Spotify if you're an audio listener or in general. And then leave us a comment. Leave us a rat list. Talk about Celtics, anything. We love reading the comments, whether you're on CLNS or over here at How About Them Celtics. It's my favorite part of the day. So say something down there. Say what's up. But thank you for watching. I'll let Sam wrap it up.
Hey, thank you very much for watching or listening. If you're watching, you're on the YouTube, whether it's CLNS or How About Them Celtics, make sure you subscribe, leave a like. If you're on How About Them Celtics, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of those daily uploads that we've been doing.
Also,
and leave a comment, leave your rat list.
Not to cut you off. It's not Celtics, it's Patriots, but it's big Patriots.
I don't care. Let me wrap the show.
I know you don't. It was a New England podcast. The Patriots did something. Give me a break. Whatever. Finish.
Rat list, Jack, for interrupting me.
Fuck off.
If you're listening, you can find us on Apple and Spotify. You can follow us there, leave a nice 5-star review, say some nice things about the pod. You can follow us on socials at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. That's the handle. On Facebook, our page is just the name of the podcast. You can follow Jack on Twitter at JackSmoneyBay. You can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus.